leading up to this start of the season was, what were they struggling with in the past, in the offseason? What have they been trying to work on? And they told us that they've been trying to work on communication and adaptability when it comes to aggressive teams, trying to deal with what their opponents are throwing at them and how to make those mid-round adjustments. Another problem, Feltwinter, the player who is not here tonight, is one of those core players who has been really helpful in terms of those mid-round adaptations in dealing with those kind of teams. Feltwinter is a very vocal player, really gets involved in the comms, and without him, we could see Karn&Co suffer a bit, but again, I'm sure that this team is pretty competent, and they've got that support elsewhere, but yes, I'm sure they're going to be missing one of their core players. I haven't said much about the operator bans, and I think you all know why. These are the pretty straightforward bans as you're ever going to get. We do have the Maverick still on the board, and that means we also have the Electro Claws of the Kaid still on the board because the teams have not bothered to ban that, given that the Maverick and that Breaching Torch is still a factor here on Club.
Yeah, and with Thermite, or sorry, not Thermite, with Thatcher being banned, of course, that's going to give rise to the Kaid, so forcing that Maverick pick pretty much every single round, and this is odd. Whitlock and Indy have switched roles. Indy, who was typically the secondary hard breach flank watch player on the previous iteration of Karn&Co, is actually on the Zoe, something that Whitlock would often play. So whether or not that role swap is just temporary due to Indy, coming in and subbing, we'll have to see. I don't suppose it's temporary, though, because Whitlock, is one of those players where he's known for his soft breach secondary entry play, but he's played every single role in the book. He's done it all. Even first entry, even hard support, even flank watch. So, Whitlock is well-versed. To see him on hard support is not surprising, especially when you have Feltwinter, who is a career first entry. So, I'm excited to see how the role shifts pan out, because Indy is definitely not someone that I imagine as an entry. Indy has always been on those supportive roles, so I'm excited to see how he does on Zoe.
Well, right off the bat, the Heist will be kicking things off with a basement defense. Good old-fashioned church and arsenal hold, and we've already got a couple peculiar elements. Med, one of these players we talked about, is going to be a focus for us, is tucked. A moment ago, was Med over in stock? I mean, still, probably looking to play a little bit aggressive, a little bit ratty. Yeah, sitting here in stock, looking to maybe catch Xeno as he runs in. Not going to allow himself to be caught off guard by that, however, as he will send a drone in first, and Med will back off as a result into secret. Xeno, though, is a little bit worried, and reasonably so. Without a teammate nearby, without a drone at his feet, doesn't want to get too overexposed. Indy is pushing up above, trying to pin down a couple of these roamers as well. But right now, this Heist defense is pretty spread out, and that may hamper Karn&Co just a bit right now because they also seem a little bit isolated.
They did see, though, that I believe the Logi wall is closed. There's no rotate there, and Con is barricaded. So if those rotating players, or if those players decide to rotate back by main stairs, the attackers are sure to hear it. And instead, they'll rotate on the other side towards garage and oil pit. So the roam nearly completely fallen back, with the exception of one player, I think. No, it looks like all five. It looks like all five are inside. And now Karn&Co will be comfortable enough to go for those hatches with Maverick. So we'll see how efficient Carnage B can be. But he's been, on the Maverick for a very long time. So I have no reason to doubt his ability. Meanwhile, Mikey goes to work above kitchen, ensuring that back arsenal is unplayable for the defense, as the Moto hatch will at last be opened with about a minute left.
Yes, and Hollyhood, as you can see down below, that is Braction. Never plays with his actual in-game name, because why would he? He's positioned on the bomb chassis in church, holding off what could be some pressure from Moto in just a moment. Right now, Karn&Co still looking for options, still trying to figure out exactly where they want to pressure from. You do have some kitchen presence, but you also have someone pushing down secret, which does suggest we could see that moto push in just a few moments. They still have 30 seconds to theoretically reposition. You still have 2 players over by Kitchen, though. That's where the diffuser is, and that is likely where the drop is going to come through in just a moment. Whitlock first comes in the flash dump, then will come in that drop. The question is, can he get in unimpeded? Yes, he can. Indy will pick up one on the coverage. Braxton gets one back onto Karn, but Zeno, good coverage, takes down Hitman in response. Panic trades. We're back at an even 3v3, but this bomb now almost secured. No! Just in time, Panic is able to shut it down. There is no time left, and even though there are 2 attackers remaining, the Heist take the first round because Panic finds a way to just barely deny the planter.
What? Where was Whitlock planting? Was it?
It looked like it was Dark Spot, but I couldn't quite tell.
So I was going to say, how was the Cade? I don't know. Okay. So I guess the Cade was able to get an angle on that. I think that was Panic. And was the only thing that could save that round. Other than that, K&Co looked pretty damn solid. I mean, they had a couple opening picks. The man advantage was in their favor. Plant was going down. They have Mikey on the hatch, but I guess the angle that Mikey was holding wasn't deep enough. He wasn't prone. He was just crouched. And no one was with Whitlock. He was just alone in the site. So Mikey not being able to spot out that Cade, him being able to simply walk up and get an angle on that planter with such low time is what won that round. I would really like to see K&Co maybe go for that earlier because they did take a lot of time clearing out that roam, but nevertheless, the Heist will take the first round.
Every round the Heist take, I'm sure, will be a deafening blow to K&Co and the community because we've seen a lot. I mean, we've seen a lot of complaints about the Heist, right? Like, oh, they don't deserve to be here. Oh, this and that. They're not as strong of a team. Already 1 round in, and they are proving people wrong. That's exactly what you like to see. Med hasn't found the scoreboard, and nor has Jolt, the 2 players we wanted to focus on. But if we're being fair, only 3 kills were found anyway. Still 2 of those attackers were left alive. All the Heist had to do was just play for time, play that utility game, and to deny that plant in the end. But we've already got good progress from K&Co. Compared to that last round, within 30 seconds, they've got the breach open. Good work for that exothermic charge from Whitlock, just making quick work of that breach. And now, as all CCTV and cache attacks must progress, they've got to make that decision on if they want to take Garage or if they want to push from behind. Zeno actually
That sucks.
will get a kill straight onto Hitman, and I actually misspoke. We're over on Gym and Bedroom. My apologies, rather than CCTV and Cache. But the point is, good early progress. And yes, Hitman getting caught out there by an angle from Zeno, a bit unfortunate for him. Good start from K&Co nonetheless.
Yeah, his leg was just slightly too exposed to that secret doorway, and Zeno was able to capitalize, giving him his second kill of the match. Now comes the window pressure, now that CCTV and Cache has been taken by the attack. Mikey now safe to drone here, knowing that he won't be peeked from that server window. In comes the drone. It will spot out Jolt. Not quite sure if it saw the player on the other side of the mattress, and the Cade will very swiftly back off, knowing that if he tries to fight against these windows, it's typically a disadvantageous battle. Whitlock wants to open up the con single wall, but unfortunately for him, it's Caded off. And there are a whole heck of a lot of places that you can put that Cade Claw, unless it's bandited, but I don't suppose it is, considering you could just shoot it from the window. Yeah, the Cade Claw, where is it? That looks like a light fixture at the top. I was going to say, it might be down below. I have no idea where this Cade Claw is. I'm sure, unless it's that thing, unless it's the thing that looks like the white light fixture. I'm not sure. It looks like Karn and Co don't really know either. So here comes the flashes, here comes the push. Zeno is just going to pressure right into the doorway. He doesn't care about any breach. Indy gets another one. Zeno eventually pre-fires a third, and Panic is left in a 1 versus 2 as Indy has been down. Now, frost mats are still in play. Whitlock's got to look at his feet. Not Carnage is going to shoot it out for him. In comes the thermite. He's going to try and plant right next to the weight rack, it looks like, but that could be dangerous if Karn can't get the kill in time. Instead, it's a flash to go in. Karn watching the footholes intently as the plant goes down from Whitlock, and Panic can't do much about it. He's got no C4 as he tries to peek out. He's only serving to reveal his position to the attackers, and as he walks in, the footholes end up being his undoing, and Karn and Co tie us up 1-1.
That's the beauty of those footholes between this gym and bedroom site, is that, yes, they work for the defenders really well, but once you lose that site control and you find yourself in need of a retake, well, those footholds can be used against you. Even if it's kind of a minor retake, just positioned in bathroom, it is still very tough to then push out into the open when you can be spotted from literally anywhere in gym if you are anywhere in Masters. So Karn&Co, they will remedy their issues from that first round, and they will not allow the clock to be as much of a problem, pushing in, just kind of sending it into the site early on. The Electroclaw did give them a bit of trouble, and that wall gave them some trouble, but they didn't really seem to mind. They had the construction control they needed, and so they just barreled into the site. And at the end of the day, on Gym and Bedroom, it often can turn into just a frag fest. Karn&Co, with the LMGs, they made that frag fest work for them, and they took the round.
Yeah, so now that I look at it, that is just a light next to the wall. So I have no idea where the hell that Electroclaw was. But Karn&Co will make an adjustment.
5 seconds left.
We're finally able to see, I think this is like going to be the most quote-unquote like impactful use of the repick that we see just on a utility basis, instead of it just being, oh, you know, we want a Twitch, or oh, we want more nades. They see that it is a CCTV cache defense. And they see that there is no Wamai on the board, interestingly enough, meaning that Capitao comes into play as a, I guess, tertiary hard breacher at this point. Unfortunately for Mikey, though, his hard breach charge gets destroyed by the Cade trick in Rafters, meaning that Carnage B is going to have to come over for the assist, open that up himself. I can't wait to see if they're able to get this Cade out of Rafters using the crossbow.
I mean, they've got that breach open, so those asphyxiating bolts aren't going to be used to force off a bandit or something like that with the angle that it looked like Mikey was going to secure. Instead, yeah, the focus of those bolts is got to be on that Rafters player. That can be where Capitao is just so damn effective, forcing that player out, just choking them out and not allowing them to rotate away without standing up into a bullet or just moving aside into a nade, of which this attacking team also has 4 in pocket as well. But as Karn&Co reposition, they'll be looking to apply some pressure from the breach. They don't want to allow someone to rotate all the way over to support that Rafters player by just sitting on the window. Interestingly enough, though, Karn&Co actually haven't really made a move yet. I mean, Mikey is still, he's sitting outside the main double door, nowhere near the garage right now. Whitlock very vulnerable to that C4. Panic just drops down and sends it, and he'll die because of it. Jolton, or rather just Jolt, excuse me, wanted to just go for a bit of a play and support his teammate, but he ends up dying instead. Karn&Co, they now have a pretty big edge now due to the garage fluke from the heist. It's a 5v3.
Interesting that they just didn't use the Capitao at all. He was used to watch mainstairs instead of clear Rafters, but it still works out for Karn&Co. They're able to net 2 kills, and with a minute left, they will open up that garage wall to make way for the default plant spot. So I guess Mikey's utility is going to be used more to cover the plant than anything else, but Hitman does find one on Whitlock, the initial planter. Now being picked up by Mikey, Zeno lands a kill, make it another. It's a triple kill for Zeno, leaving just Braction in a 1 versus 4. There's someone on his breach, someone on his red. Plant going down from Mikey. A near unwinnable situation here for Braction as it's turned to a post-plant. The attackers now can play passive if they would like, but in a 4 versus 1, I imagine some peekage is going to be going on. And in fact, it's Mikey to simply press the issue, walk into cash, and finish the round.
We saw a bit of a surprising take of Garage, of Rafters. It wasn't as typical as we would ever see from Karn&Co, especially when you bring the Capitao, and it looked like they didn't even use the Capitao at all. But at the end of the day, it worked. And by pressuring the Kaid so early, they baited Jolt into also peeking from concrete, going for the swing from that garage door, and they claimed 2 kills when only 1 was guaranteed. They had 2 guaranteed instead. So a slight misplay there from Jolt, something that we'll definitely be looking to correct going forward, and now playing more of a passive role on the Maestro, I expect to not see that become as much of an issue, but the Heist just not able to hold down CCTV and cash. That was the most dominant round we've seen from Karn&Co thus far. It was simply very, very fast. They didn't bother with the clock. They just opened the walls they needed, killed the players as soon as they laid eyes on them, and there you have it. The site control is theirs, and I think it was indicative of that play style in the end when Mikey just decided to walk right into cash and take the fight with Braction head on instead of waiting for him to peek. Karn&Co building that confidence, getting warmed up here, and it's good to see.
Not only that, but Zeno landing 2 triple kills in a row. Back-to-back rounds. Incredible stuff from him so far. 7 and 2. Indy also not doing terribly. Karn&Co have to attack the basement once again, though, where the Heist had a very extended roam, which they seem to be employing once again. And Karn&Co took their sweet time trying to clear this. In fact, by the time they tried going for the plant, there was about 20 seconds left on the board, resulting in Whitlock dying mid-plant because of a lapse of coverage and a loss of the round. I'm sure Karn&Co won't be making that mistake twice, though, as Indy is already upstairs by the Jacuzzi breach. Zeno in stock, now that he's not being contested. I think that was by Med last time. The attackers are very quickly setting up their cutoffs.
Yeah, and Braxton's got to be very careful about how he proceeds here. I mean, you do have Hitman to provide that support if you want to rotate away, but Karn&Co are getting in position. They've established this vertical play, which is going to encourage the Heist to rotate, but this attack also has some intel about what is going on. Hitman is definitely being pinged right now. They know that Braxton just dropped down an oil pit. Question is, are they going to do something about it? Right now, Zeno is focused on the site below. He is looking exactly the right place at the right time, thanks to some good intel, and Braxton gets decimated without even really knowing what hit him. You still have to worry about Hitman, though, who is lurking in garage and has not rotated away just yet. Just a matter of time, though, before he gets identified. If he either goes for a flank, that could be big given the time, or if he just drops down to site here. But look at this, Zeno doesn't know. He could go for the play. Mikey picks up a kill in the meantime, though, so Hitman has to make a move, but he's got a free kill sitting around the corner unless Zeno pops up, and he just does not look in time. So Hitman claims the kill. Still a 4v3, though, favoring the attack.
Yeah, instead of pressing the issue, Hitman is simply going to drop back down to the site and play with his anchors. Luckily for him, no one from Karn&Co was in the vicinity to refrag, and they seem to be setting up for a kitchen drop once again. A lot of this is going to be on the coverage on the hatch, and Indy covering main. Panic is watching that hatch like a hawk, though, patiently awaiting Whitlock's drop, trying to see if he can catch that ace unaware and land the freebie and drop diffuser in sight. But Whitlock is droning around. He wants to be extremely thorough and knowing exactly what he's getting into. The C4 could land from Panic as well. It's something that missed in the previous round, but I'm sure he's got the lineup here. Carnage B attempting to make a sneaky play through dirt, though. Here come the flashes. In comes Whitlock. No C4 just yet from Panic. He's going to wait for the plant attempt, but he dies before he can let it off. Instead of staying on the hatch, Mikey drops with his planter. He can't get the Jaeger, but he does get that plant down. Carnage B makes it away safely, and now it's just Whitlock left in the site. There's some pings on him. Impact's going out to damage the ace, but he's still not dead and wasting time. Finally, he hits the floor. But Indy and Carnage B, they're up top, and they have the vertical superiority against both Jolt and Hitman. Hitman is in dirt, hunting for Carnage B, but that Maverick is long gone. Indy is going to make even more floor holes just for good measure. Try and tag one up through the wall. Hitman takes a lick of damage, but only 13 seconds left. They have to go for this. One falls. Next is the counter diffuser, and Karn&Co take a very easy third point.
Yeah, not too worrisome there in the end, given that two players, were able to rotate back upstairs and hold the vertical. It did look problematic for a moment, Harrison, and I know you highlighted that as well, because Carnage B was sneaking through dirt, going for a bit of an odd play, and everyone else was actually on the site or on that basement floor in some degree. But then when the bomb went down, they realized their mistake. They said, you know what, let's get back upstairs and play the vertical, and they both did. Karn rotated out of dirt. You have the coverage up above from the Zofia, and you were sitting pretty at that point. There is almost nothing that even 3 or 4 defenders down below could do with limited time left to get the counter diffuse and to spot out those attackers above who are just holding the hatch. Unless you have an excess of manpower to spare and you can run upstairs and apply some pressure to those players while also going for the diffuse, it is not a winnable situation by any means. So the Heist, allowing another round to slip through their fingers, they're going to go to basement again to try to figure out what they can fix.
Mikey dropping with Whitlock, too, was a big necessary change. So not only the speed, but the allocation of man count. Okay, Karn&Co, we can't pause during prep phase. That's just an operator select thing. I don't know what they needed to pause for. Hopefully it wasn't important. But we see Thorn for the first time in Challenger League, Jonah. we have Med on the Thorn. He hasn't gotten a kill yet. He's going to try and do it with the Uzi. He's got some traps set around the map. Now, if you are unaware of what Thorn's traps do, they are proximity-based, just like, an Elemine or a Prox Alarm or something like that. And once you step in its line of sight, it will tick for a few seconds and then explode. So you have a chance to back off. You have a chance to, whip around and shoot it. And if you're within, the white range, just like a grenade. If you're within white range, you get damaged a little bit. If you're in red range, you just die instantly. So a lot of people, from what I've been told, there's two ways that Thorn has been used. One, as just simple info, like an Elemine, like so they hit the trap, and now you know they're coming from that direction. Or two, you put it on a bottleneck, and you try and force the attackers forward into your guns. So we'll have to see just how this Thorn pans out for the heist.
Yeah, I'd love to see Med get on the scoreboard, especially first CL game, CL debut. Want to get a couple of kills, especially when you're playing on roles that would generally lean to a kill or two now and again. Panic is going to take a bit of early damage, contesting up above just a bit, and takes a couple bullets from Mikey, I'd imagine. The Buck, who is already hard at work with that skeleton key and opening up the floor of kitchen to spot out things on the site. Panic does have one more of those impacts to theoretically get some sort of impact trick going, but given that you've got Karn with the Maverick, you've got Whitlock with multiple exothermics, it's not something that's going to be sustainable to actually get done, given that only one impact will not do much more. Panic did try to damage Mikey with that initial impact, but really that's just going to be wasted, essentially. Mikey takes a little bit of damage, but not much more, and Karn now can spread pretty far and wide on this site below. You've got pressure in kitchen. You've now actually dropped the moto hatch, and Karn is going to begin to open up this church wall, or at least get these electro claws out of play so that Whitlock can step up and open those entirely with those exothermics.
Speaking of the Electro Claw, I think Jolt actually C4'd his own Electro Claw off of the kitchen hatch. I really thought that Zostone was going to give us sound back, but that was just a bit of wishful thinking. As the K-Claw is now done for, the wall is being opened. Braxton is 1 HP, and now playing close on the wall with a shotgun. Not quite sure if the attack is aware of it, though, so perhaps Braxton can get a freebie before he's instantly traded out, but the gas canisters are coming into play. There's only 13 seconds left. Hitman gets the leadoff kill on a Xeno. Panic is refragged. It's 2 apiece for both of these teams, but Whitlock goes down sprinting through the smoke. Mikey's got to make a play up close with the skeleton key. Gets one, turns around, finds the other. It's all up to Med now, and the plant is going down. He can't deny it. He'll kill Mikey, but now we're in a 1v1 post-plant. Carnage B with the time advantage. He'll back off out the wall and back into Moto. Med likely has little to no info to play off of. He's got a rough idea of where Carnage B could be, but no, as he checks the breach, Karn swings around, and what was a scary situation for K&Co still turns into a round win for them.
Yeah, as terrifying of a position that Braxton was trying to hold, he actually was he was the reason that it got so messy, because as he died, he was able to allow those smokes to go down. Holding that close angle, forcing K&Co to take the time to clear him out, and then making sure those smoke grenades went off before he was killed. It just meant that, well, you've got a bit more time that K&Co couldn't push in. It got a bit chaotic when they ended up just forcing their way on through the breach, and they nearly got put into a little bit of an uncomfortable situation. But because those were able to go off, and K&Co were able to find enough trades, you got to give it up to Mikey for making that play with the skeleton key, shotgunning his way through Blue and then through Arsenal itself, and making that play from behind. That allowed Karn to get the bomb down, but just narrowly. So the Heist are putting up a fight, but it's still 4-1, and K&Co definitely still looking like the better team.
Yeah, and we got to give it up to Mikey in that round, too. I mean, wow. I know you gave him props, but I just gotta say, Mikey, that is the Mikey that we saw all SCS. He's starting to turn up. He was having a little bit of a slow game, in the beginning. He was doing okay, but that round was absolutely tremendous. That last round too was the first round in the entire game that the Heist were able to get an opening frag. It was Hitman onto Xeno, and unfortunately for them, it ended up not mattering. But they will get it again Same people. Hitman onto Xeno. Down goes the Finka very early on.
Yeah, that's a great start, especially given that Xeno was the top frag of this roster right now and has a ton of important utility for the attack. Not only is that LMG an amazing weapon these days, but you've got those nades, you've got those Finka boosts, none of which are going to be in play for you any longer. You still have 2 nades in Karn's pocket on the Maverick, but that's just about it in terms of that destructive utility that could potentially secure you kills from even potentially from below on a site like this. Not sure what Jolt was doing there holding that angle. There was intel right on him, so that was one of the easier pre-fires that Indy will ever have to get done, claiming that kill and immediately returning us back to an even 4v4. Braxton is theoretically the next player in danger of being spotted out, but he doesn't seem too eager to swing. He'd rather actually back off and allow Panic to take this position instead. So doing a little bit of a swap, given that maybe the MP5 is a little bit stronger than the shotgun with an angle like that. But right now, Karn&Co, they're continuing to work their way through this map. They've got the control of this east side, and all they got to do is now work their way up to construction where Med is lying in wait.
Like you said, that Logi player has to watch their step. Well, I was going to say they have to watch their step because of Mikey, but Mikey has since gotten off the angle and is now on the metal balk. Once again, window pressure coming in from Karn&Co because server is in their control, but this time, they don't have to worry about Cade Claws on construction, so that wall will fall nice and wide. Great nade from below from Karn, and Med is the next to die. Both the new pickups now first dead on the opposing team. And Braction's looking to get active in Logi. He's tucked around the corner. Hitman might come in for the assist by the con door. They're looking to maybe pinch out Indy, as everyone else is either below, that's Karn, or on that metal balcony. We're going to have to watch Karn because he'll likely come up for that main stairs play late in the round during this execute and try and take advantage of the chaos, but time is ticking. 30 seconds left. Karn's going to try nading a different spot. Unfortunately for him, there's no one sitting there, but it does at least clear a position that the attackers no longer have to worry about. Indy does have a shield to protect him from Logi as he attempts to push in through that condor. Hitman now cognizant of the main stairs play. Up comes the Maverick. Karn still wins the fight. Panic instantly trades, but in comes those attackers for the execute. Plant going down. Window coverage coming through for Mikey, stopping this bandit's progress despite not getting the kill, but finally, Indy gets Braxton, and the bandit dies to that mean crossfire, giving Karn&Co a 5-1 half.
Yeah, it's starting to feel more and more like the Karn&Co dominance that we expected right off the bat. The Heist were able to claim that first round, but since then, it has really not been going their way at all. That last round especially exposed a lot of Heist weaknesses, a lot of positioning mistakes. Just gym and bedroom, it's a hard site to hold. There's no doubt about that. But when you're trying to position, trying to relocate and stay safe, it just felt like some wrong decisions were being made there by the Heist. Braxton, for one, moving into Logi, deeper into Logi, and tucking himself in the corner, really committing to die in that position, hoping to maybe get a couple of kills in construction if there was still pressure being applied there. But Karn&Co were outside at that point. They were pressuring from the windows. They were pressuring from Jim. They didn't want to deal with the unknown space that was Logi. And because Braxton didn't know that, he was stuck in a corner, not able to help his team for quite some time. Same thing kind of comes for Panic, who was able to help Hitman's awkward gunfight on the stairs by getting that trade. But then he really found himself cut off. He was in the hallway. He had to sprint in and deny the plant if he could, all while being watched by the window player. Just a couple of these things that the Heist just maybe didn't think through quite enough. Just a lack of foresight or just mid-round adaptation not quite going their way, but a very, very strong attacking half for Karn&Co, now looking to continue it on the defensive side.
And it's a very spread out defense at that. It's, another variation on the famous SSG drone. Plenty of drone denial. Malusi and Smoke sitting on site just in case there's a rush. They'll be stopped by Banshees and smoke canisters. And the Heist have opted to bring a Ying. Now, whether this Ying is going to be used to clear the roam or rush site remains to be seen. It looks like they might have already opened up dirt. Yes, they have already opened up dirt. And Jolt is going to start making his way in. it looks like instead of clearing the roam, the Heist are just going to try and go direct on the site. They've even got players in kitchen to open the hatch, and there's that player, the Ying, getting the first frag on Karn, but that control immediately ripped away by Indy.
Yeah, you're killing me with the early Ying fights, though. What's the point of bringing Ying if you're going to throw her life away so
Yeah, you could have done that with
early on?
anyone.
Right, you could have done that with anyone. Now you lose your Candelas, you lose your smokes, and you lose what felt like a core plan that you were pretty much committing to by bringing her into the lobby. You're going to have to do this one without that utility and without really much explosives at all. I mean, Braction's got one nade left. You've got a couple of Selmas that Panic can throw down, and you still have the hard breach from Med, but look at this. You've got Mikey up above, who has not been dealt with whatsoever. And the Heist don't look like they want to deal with him, but actually good placement of those Selmas and maybe some poor shooting from Mikey means that the breach is able to get open, rather the hatch, and Hitman actually claims that kill onto Mikey as he rotates back. Whitlock is lit up a good bit here, so despite the messy appearance from the Heist, they've got a man advantage. Whitlock is lit up and exposed. Indy has been taken care of, and it's Karn&Co who are actually falling apart instead.
In that mid round, the Heist being able to find their frags, good cutoff there onto that player trying to rotate back, and another man in dirt gets the site. That means Whitlock and Zeno are forced to rotate back while Med moves his way through with that case in hand, looking to plant by dummies, and there might not be much that the defense can do about it, but there's Zeno and Whitlock, a kill each, actually getting that planter through the wall before Whitlock is traded out, but Zeno's position still unknown, puts us into a 1v1. And Hitman is oh so low on HP. He's got to sprint down and try and grab that case or get the kill within the next 25 seconds, and his only access through that doorway is barricaded off. No breaching charges, no Zofia lifelines, means he's got to break that barricade. Zeno now knows of his position, and he has backed way off. He knows he can play the time, and if it comes to the gunfight, sure, the LMG has a lot of ammo, but he only needs to land 1 or 2 shots. Hitman's going to be going for this plant, waiting for it to hit 000. Zeno will back off just in time, and the pre-fire does not land. Zeno hits the deck and wins the round. Karn&Co able to rip it away to put themselves on match point.
Yeah, that was, what, a 2v4, I think that was. Really well played there from Whitlock. Why is the name? Who was that last? Who was the Mozzie just then? Zeno. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. I swear it was Zeno. Was it Karn speed? No. Well played there from Zeno and Whitlock to make that one happen. I mean, it was, yes, a little bit problematic for the Heist when they just decided to filter into the site instead of holding and trying to assist the planter. It was the Ace who started creeping on in, crouch walking through, trying to hold that diffuser or recover that diffuser. Did not know there was someone at the bottom of main stairs, even though that Zeno had already gotten a pick from there. He ended up getting 2 kills and then ended up getting that final one. Just really good play from that pair in the 2v4 situation. The Heist certainly could have played that one better. The rough start, a good recovery. I think Karn&Co got a little bit over-eager. They saw the mistake that the Heist made by, sacrificing their Ying so early, but then maybe they got a bit too aggressive, too hungry for those kills, and the Heist was aware enough to punish them for it, but in the end, letting that slip away with just 2 gunners on the site who could not be stopped.
Yeah, I don't know if it was greed for kills or maybe even a greed for the plant, because they tried to, as soon as they saw that opening in sight, they were like, all right, hit the switch. Let's all go down into sight. And it looked like they got ahead of themselves. They weren't quite aware of those rotating players, didn't have proper flank watch set up to spot out Whitlock and Zeno. Or even then, Whitlock, he's Vigil, whatever. To spot out Zeno just walking down main stairs. And even then, Zeno already had a kill by the time the Ace had exposed himself. So that was, like you said, a lot of miscommunication, I think, happening on the Heist side as well. Now Karn&Co leads 6-1. They are sitting mighty comfortably. No doubt in my mind that they probably think that they have this game in the bag. And they're going to try and win it out on Jim with only 2 people on site, only Zeno and Karn. The rest being extended towards server, but no, they immediately start to default back. I guess figuring that, hey, the Heist aren't really going for this split push, more so down below, so we don't have to worry about the cash side of things. I mean, hey, maybe leave someone lingering there just to make sure that the Heist don't feel safe on the balcony, should they, opt to pressure the windows, but other than that, I think it's smart to have Karn&Co replace their men on site.
Well, speaking of the site, that's really what the Heist are doing early on. Like you said, no dramatic clear. It's going to be pretty direct, either on the site or just down below. Hitman is going to continue actually putting up some pretty good numbers. Currently the only player on the heist positive, now at 8 and 7, thanks to a nice kill onto Karn, who was positioned a bit too overexposed on the main stairs, but that now frees up the heist to do quite a lot. They no longer have to worry about those smoke grenades. There is, yes, still a C4 to worry about, but that's just about it. And Zeno, who's currently proning around in Master, doesn't have the best option to use that right now.
Panic's out.
Yeah, he looks like he'll go reposition over into Jim. Mikey actually falls to Jolt at the same time. Oh my god, here comes the swing from Zeno, and he actually ends up getting that kill. Exposes himself to the window, but now he's actually going to back off, and he'll be safe for now because Panic isn't going to take that fight.
This is dangerous for Panic because there's no one on the attack able to watch Server. Whitlock finds the next one. Alibi taking a fight but loses to the LMG. Now a 2 versus 3. Whitlock tucked all the way back in Logi, and I think Zeno is making the rotate towards Server. He could catch this ace off guard, and Panic's not looking. We're back to even man count, and Zeno's going to be able to safely rotate back. Med's still outside the breach. Hitman downstairs coming up main. They've got a decent spread. Nice crossfire in onto long, but none of these defenders are exposing themselves. They're patiently waiting for the heist to make the first move to catch that planter, and in comes Med. He misses the shots on Zeno, and Hitman's the last one left. The only member positive needs to clutch up a 1v2. 10 seconds remaining. Zeno starting to peel off. Whitlock holding the gold rotate. He'll peel off as well, playing this extremely smart. Karn&Co do not want to give him the fight. There's one, but Zeno immediately runs away. 7-1, pure dominance for Karn&Co, despite the sub. And Indy, I mean, speaking of the sub, I think we can say with confidence, Indy did not drag Karn&Co down one bit.
No, he did not. He put up some good numbers, played well, pretty cohesive team, and they were not tested all that much, if we're going to be honest. Tough for the heist, though, because this is not the toughest opponent they're going to be facing by any means, and this, opponent had a sub today with Indy filling in. So the heist have a very, very rough road ahead of them. There's no question, unless they can really work out some kinks. Maybe it was the map, but considering we just saw Clubhouse, a map that everyone is theoretically supposed to know